Welcome to GTs, and this is Doom Patrol Season 1. Season 1, in the multiverse of DC Universe, deals with a bunch of metahumans, dealing with their past insecurities and becoming a team. So let's get started. Niles Coulter, aka The Chief, is a scientist, and he has provided safe haven to few of metahumans shunned from the society. First up, we have Cliff, a NASCAR driver from the 1980s. He meets with an accident, and the chief was only able to save his brain, and it took him 7 years to put it back in the body of a robot. Gaining senses, he wanted to go back to his family. It is when Chief helps him remember that the accident killed his entire family. Then we have Rita Farr, a queen of cinema from the 50s. She got her meta powers while shooting for a movie in Africa, where she was exposed to an unusual gas, causing her to gain elasticity. But when she is not in control, she melts into a block. Next, we have Larry Turner, a test pilot for the Air Force. He was shortlisted to fly for the Mercury space program in the 1960s. On his test flight, he was exposed to cosmic radiation. The experience left him radioactive and bonded him with a negative spirit. And finally, we have Crazy Jane, having a total of 64 personalities, with each having its own superpower, but Jane being the most dominant and stable of them all. They all gained dominance and power when she was given a serum in the psychiatric hospital in the 1970s. With Chief being away for a day, the four of them decide to go to the nearby town of Cloverton. But Rita loses control and causes a massive incident, only to be stopped by Cliff. The incident in the city disclosed Chief's location, so he is afraid that his enemies will come looking through the city. So they decided to move, but Cliff wants to protect the town and decides to stay back. The rest of the gang just couldn't leave him behind, so they turn to help him. As they reach the town, it is when Mr. Modern, aka Mr. Nobody, attacks them, and he opens a portal which sucks the entire town and the chief. Jane dives in to save the chief, and the rest are left behind. Cliff stays in the town to look for them. Rita leaves for the mansion, while Larry tries to leave the city, but the spirit is not letting him do so. It is now when we are introduced to the cyborg, a crime-fighting humanoid named Vic from Detroit. His father turned him into a cyborg to save his life after an accident in which he lost his mother and he was severely injured. Vic, being a friend of Niles, getting to know about town being destroyed, comes looking for him. It is when he meets Cliff, who lets him know what happened. And as they were talking, the donkey spits out Jane. They learn that the donkey is the doorway to the other dimension, and Vic convinces Rita to go in. But as Rita tries to enter, Vic and Larry along with Rita are sucked in. But it was a trap laid by Mr. Nobody, and he makes them go through their past mistakes and pain, taking Rita back to a film set, Larry to the cockpit, and Vic to the final moments when his mother died. He makes them go through the pain all over again and lets them know if they don't stop looking, he will destroy them. And he sends them back and restores the town. Searching for clues in Chief's office, they find a photo of the donkey in Paraguay. Jane's alter ego Cliff teleports Cliff and Larry to Paraguay, leaving Vic and Rita behind. They find that Paraguay is the place where Mr. Modern got his power. We learn that an experimental Nazi scientist, von Fuchs, used a machine to provide humans with meta powers. And while he was doing the same for Mr. Modern, it is when the chief showed up and interrupted the process and took something of grave importance. However, the process being interrupted gave Mr. Nobody spatial powers. He is now able to move between dimensions and white space, and has the ability to manifest anyone's fears into reality. Von Fuchs tries to stop them from leaving, but Jane and Cliff burst out, destroying everything and everyone, and they all return back home. As a new day dawns, Kipling, a friend of the chief, shows up and wants his help, as the world is about to end since the book of Unwritten is about to be completed and read, and a decreator will destroy the world. Kipling asks them for help. They use the oracle to find the location of the unread book and go through a portal and grab him. Kipling wants to destroy the book, which means killing the boy, but the team is not in its favor and they want some other options. Kipling lets them know that the only other way is to close the gate of Narheim. Cliff and Jane go to close the gate while rest of them stay back to protect the book. However, all of them fail and the book of the unwritten is read, and the Decreator appears to destroy the world. It is when Niles convinces Mr. Nobody to help save the world, and they come up with a plan. Mr. Nobody goes back in time and finds alter ego of Jane, Dr. Harrison. Dr. Harrison creates the cult of Recreator, and with help from Kipling and Niles, they are able to activate the Recreator and destroy the Decreator. With the world being saved, Nobody takes back the chief and tips Jane to find the Doom Patrol, and in the process, Vic blows his hand up and has to be resetted. As Jane searches for Doom Patrol, they find Rita dated their leader, and they learn that Mr. Nobody destroyed the team when they fought against him, and he wanted them to know what will happen if they don't stop looking. In addition, Jane finds that Niles has also reserved a room for her in this imaginary school. Cliff, knowing his daughter being alive and infested by a mouse, aka Admiral Whisker, asks everyone to open up and share their insecurities so that they can bond and become a better team. Rita lets them know about her mistakes. Larry shares his insecurities, while Vic lets them know his distrust for his father. But Jane has an emotional outburst and she calls out everyone, but Cliff gives her his peace of mind and Jane leaves. Jane's alter ego Karen has taken control and she wants to get married. Rita and Cliff go to get her back, while Vic and Larry go to help out Danny, a talking teleporting street providing safe havens to many. Danny is being hunted by Darren Jones from Bureau of Normalcy, an agency responsible for catching and eliminating abnormal humans. Larry and Vic decides to stay back and help them fight, and they are able to defeat Darren Jones and force him to leave. Danny gives a clue to Vic, a comic book which will help them look for Niles. Meanwhile, trying to save Jane and push back Karen resulted in Jane being unconscious, and Cliff goes into her mind, the underground, to get Jane back. While in her mind, Cliff helps Jane fight her dad, and we learn she has been molested as a kid. Meanwhile, we get to know more about Niles. He was working with Bureau of Oddities in 1913 and was searching for a mystical creature in the north, with Alliston as his bodyguard. But they were attacked by wolves and got separated. When Niles wakes up, he finds himself captured by an ancient female creature. As Niles gets his strength back, he decides to stay and observe the creature. As time passes, he starts to fall in love with her and is amazed by her mystical past. But Alliston has survived and has been tracking him, and he wants to capture the creature. As in the past years, the Bureau has changed from oddities to normalcy, and now they hunt and capture abnormals. Niles, being in love, kills Alliston, goes back to keep his love a secret from the world. Mr. Nobody wants Niles to give up the location of the girl, but he refuses even after being threatened. Bureau of Normalcy has hired a beard man, a tracker who can find anyone after he consumes their beard, and he is looking for Niles. As he shows up in the mansion, Vic and Rita try to stop him, but fail. But Rita was able to plant a GPS tracking in him. With Jane being back and dealt with her past, pushes everyone to deal with their own. She takes Cliff to meet his daughter, while Larry tries communicating with his spirit, and he wants Larry to have a closure and say goodbye to his lover. While Rita is slowly and gradually able to forgive herself and move past her mistakes. And Vic takes down his operating system as he thought it was taking control over it. The comic which Danny provided gives them a clue to find Flex, but his whereabouts are nowhere known, but they are able to locate his wife Dolores, and they set up a meet. When Vic and Jane go for the meet, it was a trap set by the Bureau and they capture Vic. Reluctantly, The rest of them accept help from Vic's father to rescue him. In the process of rescuing Vic, they destroy the Bureau of Normalcy and are able to find Flex also. But Mr. Nobody manipulated Vic so much that he ended up nearly killing his father, getting Flex back, and with Larry, Cliff, Jane, and Rita all being secure with their past, are now ready to fight back. But Flex has lost his memories, and they are able to get it back once they bring his wife to him. But as they recognize each other, a safety is triggered and his wife disintegrates. Vic, being upset about losing control, is with his dad when Rita asks him to install the grid back so they can track the Beard Man. Vic installs the grid and lets them know his location but doesn't join the team. Beard Man's location led them to Danny, where he has been hiding. As they interrogate him, Danny lets them know Mr. Nobody is in the white space with the chief, and Flex sends them in the white space with the flex of his muscle. But it took him 2 attempts to do so. As they all reach the white space, Mr. Nobody gives them a glimpse of a normal life, but they, being secure with their past, are not tempted and move forward. And as they confront Mr. Nobody, we learn that he got his name Mr. Nobody when his girlfriend left him after he was kicked out from the Brotherhood of Evil. And as they get ready, Vic blasts him from behind and saves the day. And a superhero team is now ready, with Dr. Niles taking the charge. But it's all a great illusion created by Mr. Nobody, and it took some time for the chief to figure it out. Back in the white space, Nobody pushes the chief to come out with the truth, and the chief lets everybody know them getting meta-powers was not accidental, but it was all pre-planned, and he was responsible for the same. Knowing this fact, his team left him. And as days move forward, we learn that everyone has left the Doom Manor, but are pulled back in with a song being played. And when they reach the manor, the chief lets them know that Mr. Nobody has trapped his daughter with Danny in a painting. Reluctantly, they all agree to help him out, and they go in the painting. And there, they are confronted with a huge cockroach, aka Ezekiel, and a very own Admiral Whiskers. They come up with a plan of destroying this dimension with a nuclear blast, while they all hide out inside the cockroach. As everyone makes it inside, Ezekiel, Larry triggers a nuclear blast, and everyone makes out, except for Mr. Nobody and Beardman, who are left trapped in the canvas. Season 1 ends with team saving Niles' daughter and getting out of Ezekiel in a shrunken stage, with Larry being the only one in a normal size.